Public agency. Copy of the open meetings ordinance is posted at the rear of this hearing room. We'll begin the agenda by asking for approval of the minutes of the October 28th meeting.
Move approval.
Second.
Are there additions or corrections? Seeing none, call the roll, please.
Emery?
Yes.
Smoyer?
Yes.
Hudkins?
Yes.
Motion carries 3-0. Item 2 is approval of claims processed through November 18th, 2014.
Mr. Meyer.
Okay, on the list today, the big one that you'll be approving is our payment to Wells Fargo for our principal and interest payment. So that is about a $3.8 million number. Also under the bond proceeds and the DEC reimbursement money, we've got a couple payments for the jail warehouse, including Ferris Engineering well, now it looks like it's Dickey, Hines, and Muir. That was Dickey and Burham, so that has changed. And then a payment to Garbers for a utility vehicle out there at the jail, and that totals a little over $61,000.
And you've reviewed all of those claims and they're in order?
Right. Ran through Mike. Mike signs off on them, and then they kind of then come to me.
Okay, you've heard the claims. Any further questions? Not, I'd entertain a motion for approval.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Emery?
Yes.
Smoyer?
Yes.
Hudkins?
Yes.
Motion carries 3-0. Item 3 is financial activity.
Let me see if I can get this thing to...
Take a second.
In the packet that I sent out to you was just kind of, last month I had told you I'd kind of bring just some activity to show you where we're at and what we've spent it on, because we're dealing with a few different things here. Our bond payments, no doubt, that were just approved today comes out of our property tax collections. So we've got that sitting over in its own business unit. But then we've also got what I classify as bond proceeds, and then we had gotten some money that I have just classified as DEC reimbursement. So through that, what I've just kind of done is kind of just split out on there to show what have we spent the bond proceeds on and what have we spent the DEC reimbursement on. And basically what it will show is on the bond proceeds, you always have your cost of issuance. We had some Wells Fargo for bank costs. Sampson's our big one. Clark Anderson for our architects. And then just a couple of things with accurate controls and stuff like that. So that's what we spent out of the bond proceeds. On the DEC reimbursement side of it, this is where we're going to kind of get into our jail warehouse stuff. So you'll see Becker Construction and Ferris Engineering were kind of the big players there. Dickey and Burham that you just approved the final payments for. The other one that I forgot that we also paid out of the DC reimbursement was to Pavers, which was about $285,000, and that was for the turn lane, the intersection out there. So we took that out of there. So what this will show you is then kind of what is the balance kind of sitting there on both sides of it. So at the end of October, in the bond proceeds we had about 1.1 million, and in the DC reimbursement we have about 569,000 sitting over there. So that's just kind of the breakdown of pretty much the jail coming out of the bond proceeds, the DC reimbursements picking up warehouse, that intersection, things like that. So I just kind of wanted to throw that out to you, and then if you guys had any questions or anything, but that's kind of how I've been tracking it.
It appears to be a reasonable allocation.
Okay, so I wanted to throw that out there to you guys, and then that way we've talked about DEC reimbursement and bond proceeds. I just wanted to show you that. So we really don't need any type of action on that. That's just kind of informational for you. So I think, Corey, from there, I think if there's no questions, you can kind of move on to the next item.
The next item would be public comment.
Anyone wishes to make public comment? Mike, you want to make a couple comments? Tell us where we're at and where you're at in the process.
Sure. Well, good morning.
And I understand maybe the good news is we might be able to go to quarterly meetings.
That's right, for the JPI. I've appreciated your work. It's monthly, and it don't go too long, but it's been very helpful to be able to explain our monthly payments out to the contractors. We have now, as Dennis said, we're finished up with all the warehouse. We will be having some other expenditures as we go on regarding some cameras we're putting in, things that we can do, but it will actually come out of JPA monies. But you have now got through the bulk of the biggest expenditures, and now it's on to daily operations at the facility. We're at 549 this morning, population-wise. So we're staying in that 550 range. That's what we really would like to, as long as we can maintain that numbers. We have done some internal work on some doors, but more or less just daily maintenance. We're working on our connection with DEC, because the ground loop system, being able to use the hot water from that building, is what you're in the cycle of using the Earth's change. So we're learning a lot about that, and seems to be working fine at this time. So.
Mike, you've had no major problems, but some of those doors have been sticking, and I understand they're replacing some of the rollers.
Yeah, as we talked to the board probably about 6 months ago, there's some rollers on some of the sliders that needed to be replaced. That's all been taken care of by Chief Industry and AirTech. They're working on those.
Through warranty?
Yeah, well, they're just taking care of it themselves. They know that's something they're responsible to do. There was 40 doors that they had to take care of. There's over 350, I believe, in the whole building. So 40 of them were the ones that they needed to do the adjustment on. But the pneumatic system, when you come out and see, has just really been a good system. I know it was concerned because we have never been with that. We always been with electric drive type motors, but this is all air-driven door, a lot less to break down, a lot less moving parts, but to be able to push those doors. And I think that has been going to be a long-term solution for operating those doors back and forth. So.
Okay. Any questions for Mike? If not, we thank you. Dennis, anything else?
No, I don't think so. Just probably the last item.
Number 5, setting of the next meeting for February 24th, 2015.
Right. So in the packet that I sent out to you guys, I just had my net kind of set up. February, May, August, and November as kind of our 4 quarterly meetings, and that's really kind of based off of May and November are really when we need to do bond payments. August is when we will really need to adopt our budget, and then February just happens to be the other quarter. But we'd still set it up for the last Tuesday of those months, and at this point in time, we see no reason not to move to that.
Okay. Consensus of the board that
Yes.
we'll go with the quarterly meetings. Good enough.
Okay.
If there's no further business, I'd entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved. Second.
Call the roll, please.
Smoyer.
Yes.
Emery.
Yes.
Hudkins.
Yes.
Motion carries 3-0.
We stand adjourned, and Corey, thank you.
You're welcome.